Now, let me start from what's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Strategic Local Development Policy out. Document aims to drive sustainable economic growth. Economy bang. And now, okay, so yeah, the Ministry of Local Government
tell me more about
and
that. Tell me more about that,
Decentralization
yes.
has introduced a strategic framework designed to promote economic growth and development at the local level. It's called 2024 to 2029 Local Economic Development Policy. So that is the policy they are putting out there. Lawyer shortage hits legal aid. So the legal aid guys are the ones that, if you don't have a lawyer, they can get you help. There is a shortage in that department, which means that poor people will not get lawyers. That's all that it means, really. Poor people who deserve justice, people who will be treated unfairly, people who are not represented. And if you don't take care in the Republic of Ghana, you may be on remand for God knows how long. In fact, the entire theory of bringing into play this Justice for All program is because some people, they were put on remand, everybody forgot about they existing because they didn't have anybody to even represent them in the first place. So we have a state. Luckily, we have the lawyers in the Republic of Ghana, some gathering in Kumasi. I am hoping that we will come to a point where some of the needless, archaic, nonsensical restrictions on legal education, like believing deep within your heart that some of the courses done at the Ghana School of Law cannot be done at the University of Ghana Faculty of Law. I mean, yeah, when sometimes the same sort of people that are teaching there anyway. So it should make sense that this system is properly done. And we need more lawyers. Contrary to some of your opinions that there are so many people studying law or are lawyers today, we need a lot more lawyers, people teaching it, people practicing it, people ensuring its development. And it's not everybody who should go to law school with the intent of becoming a practicing lawyer. That is a vocational profession. Some will end up as teachers. Others will end up as law clerks and all of the other things. And it will be prudent that a lawyer spends his entire life defending others for very little or nothing at all. So legal aid in any prudent society, which is mindful of the rights of poor people, is very important. Except that in our case, we have not only made sure that they don't have so many. If you spread across the country, it's terrible. There are regions that have like one or two.
Do you remember?
Entire regional. Imagine some very poor areas. Nobody to represent the people who might, with help from a lawyer, not stay out of jail. But without a lawyer, will be incarcerated, will become a hardened criminal, and end up destroying the life of somebody we could have saved.
Do you remember 2 weeks ago we talked about maths teachers who make mathematics difficult, right? Now, afterwards, I got a text message from a clinical psychologist who was explaining to me that is a deep-rooted inferiority complex that makes people do that. So the one thing that they have achieved, they want that thing to be special. So they try to convince the whole world that only a few people can do it.
Oh, I see.
That's why they set exams with the aim of failing most of their students, so that it will seem as if only a few people can do what they do. And I see a lot of that in our training of lawyers. That we have set up a system that makes it seem as if you must be superhuman to become a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? And we are putting more and more impediments in the way to make that true. But it's an inferiority complex that's making us do that.
And we know the people who have produced.
And you know what?
I mean, we've seen lawyers.
Yes,
When
yes.
I mean, you know,
So
the
it's as if you are
interesting
really,
thing. No, but you know the interesting thing.
you have not safeguarded that
Yes.
space well.
No, you know the interesting thing. When people want to go to the law school and are being denied, they complain. But when they become lawyers, they start saying, "Oh, there are too many lawyers."
Precisely.
And I ask, but years ago you were complaining you wanted to be in the law school. I mean, you called us at midnight, reminding us of how you've been.
That's true.
You're not being allowed to the law school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only for you to get to the law school, and then you start this whole chorus of, "Oh, there are too many lawyers. Yes, they have to do it." And I'm like, but, I mean, why would you
even
do
those
that?
who were called to the bar just last year, some of them are already. No, this year. It was this year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Some of them are already saying what you're saying.
I do not.
No, I get that. Some of them cannot find space to do pupillage and all the other things. I get that. But that's not a problem of... See, there are districts in this country that have no lawyers there.
Yeah.
You know what that really means? But the district has a court. So somebody has to travel from Accra to say, I'm Sawankese.
That means
to go and
that means you have to pay the lawyer more. Because once he's coming from
all the
Accra,
way.
you'd have to pay him every day he comes to do your case. And the thing is that he keeps taking adjournments because your worship or your honor, I'm not here. I'll be there. I'll be there. No, this date is not good for me. I do not see why, as a country, we cannot produce more lawyers, and that's why I've had an issue. I've had an issue with anybody who says, "Oh, there are too many lawyers in this country."
You see, it's much better for those who love it to be able to become it than for you to make it so restrictive that only people who are, I don't know, people who are willing to jump through all kinds of ridiculous hoops will get there. Some will pay their way there, and we end up with fewer, poorer quality lawyers.
And in any case, I insist, your stringent so-called measures have not ensured that you are a top of the best in the world.
You
anyway,
haven't. I mean,
So please, these so-called structures that people like, people like doing all of those. If you are saying people don't have resources, then we can complain that they don't have money to go to school. That's a problem. We can see how we can work on that. I hope you get my point. But merely instituting, and nobody is saying when you wake up in the morning, you can just apply to them tomorrow be a lawyer.
Of course not.
Nobody's saying so.
Of course not.
But your so-called measures, others are doing it in far more wonderful ways and producing far more wonderful lawyers. So some rethinking, and I was hoping that in Kumasi they will spend some time also rethinking.
No,
but so that's the problem.
But let me
It's almost like our own have gathered. So
let's go and have fun.
The gate is very important to us. The gatekeeping role.
Could you talk about mathematics and I don't know whether you experience the mental.
Yeah.
That one that if you're not able to give the answer, you're still being
get a knock.
Sometimes it says 3-3, then the cane is on you. I mean,
but how?
Oh, yes.
So is the pressure supposed to force you to say it?
I mean,
really?
There was a boy called Gauga in our classroom. I remember him because when he said 3-3, I remembered his case. They asked him 5-5, he said 55. And they were lashing him, and he was still saying 5-5, 55. And then they'll keep lashing him, and he kept saying the same thing.
That is torture.
Yeah.
I remember my maths teacher.
As if you can beat knowledge into someone.
My maths teacher in secondary
But some
school.
people that pressure cannot talk.
My maths teacher in secondary school. I remember this girl who said, "Sir, please, I don't understand." What don't you understand? He packs his books and leaves the class.
The teacher.
Yes.
If he was teaching in any school in the UK, that guy would have been sacked. It's because of the opportunity to misbehave in our country. Because nobody is checking that.
But you know
because
why
the
he
responsibility
did
is actually put on the child.
But you know why he did that? Because he couldn't explain.
Anyway,
That's why
He
left.
couldn't answer. Yeah, that's why he left. And look, I mean, you've seen that Insign, prefect from Insign, the young girl, talking about what's wrong with our education system, right? And talking about how it's not the teachers that make students of endowed schools good. Already good students are attracted to the endowed schools. The teachers do almost nothing because GES is not producing supernatural teachers and sending them only to certain schools. Teacher is teacher.
Yeah.
So, anyway, look, we should probably make some time later on the show to talk a bit more
about
this.
those ones. The lawyers, UTAG, and Marshallans demand end to Galamsey, and that's the Bar Association, the University Teachers Association.
We want to hear from
and the Catholic Friendly Society.
Christian Council. We need to hear from every organization that has any kind of clout in this country.
All right. So, ending on that note, IEA solicits questions from public ahead of presidential debates. So, if you have questions, it's IEA at IEAGH.org.
Presidential debate
Yes,
between.
Is it happening?
Yes, please.
No, who are the presidential candidates? I want to know.
Oh, the debate is said it will take the form of a policy dialogue engagement at which presidential and vice presidential candidates will present their viewpoints, plans, and programs.
Of the
and
30, is it a 30 something?
But
aspirants?
wait for them to all file.
Okay.
Then we will know them.
Oh,
we will
no.
separate the men from the
no.
boys.
Let's go for the online issue.
Yes.
You'll debate in batches.
Yes.